Hey guys, it is winter. I've got this massive beard, nearly it makes my head look 3 times the size, but nevertheless. So, I was looking through some things on Facebook pertaining to plants and that sort of thing, and I came across something very interesting. Someone had a problem, and I thought, what a good opportunity to actually do a video and show you what I do and how I overcome this problem, or how to actually reason through this problem. And the problem is as follows. So sometimes you have a bromeliad. We all know that they're monocopic, so they flower once and then they die. And what that means is the plant dies, but before it does, it actually produces vegetative offsets, aka it produces pups. I've got 3 samples which I'm gonna show you, and with that said, I'm gonna show you how best to navigate that and what to do, what not to do. Okay, so you've got a plant, it's flowered. In some cases, bromeliads will flower and the mother will pass away a lot earlier. This usually happens for the soft-leaf bromeliads. So Guzmanias, freesias, they generally take a very short time to decompose after the mother's flowered. So the mother here is flowered on this lingulata. She's now beginning to fade. This is actually quite soft, and within a couple of months this will be completely brown and it will be gone. The resultant effect is she's already begun to pup. So she's got 3 pups right there. Are these pups ready to actually remove? They are unfortunately not, and I will get to that in a moment why they are not. If you look at the plant in the pup in relation to the mother, the size of the mother, the pup is actually still quite young. Okay, so the next one we have is, this is a hybrid that I made. It is a Bulburgia hybrid, a Newton's hybrid. That's the flower. There's another flower right there. And in this pot you can see it's become quite a cluster of plants already. So this is in desperate need of a repotting. There are a couple of mothers in here which need to be removed. So that's one. In this case, the mothers are still pretty strong. They're doing pretty well. Then finally, in another hybrid I made, another Bulburgia hybrid. This plant, which is a lot bigger, I'm just going to hide behind it so I can show you. That's the mother. She's already flowered. Second mother, right there, she's already flowered. And a third one which is just finished a couple of weeks ago. So in this case there are also quite a number of plants in this pot desperately in need of a repotting, and so with pups being this small, when do you remove them? Do you remove them early? Do you remove them late? How long do you wait before you actually cut the pup off? That's what I'm here to talk to you about today. Okay, so generally the way I look at it, and with most bromeliads, is if the plant is 2/3 the mother's size, 2/3 the size of the mother, I repeat for a third time, 2/3 the size of the mother, it is generally safe to remove the plant from its mother. Generally what I would use is a pair of really sharp, clean secateurs, or pruning shears. I'll get in as close to the mother as possible and I'll sever the pup from the mother. And then basically I'll repot the plant. So 2/3 the mother's size. If you've put the plant into a really good medium and you see that the new pup is growing out through the medium, there's a good chance that the plant has actually got roots on it already. And in that case, if the plant has already got roots, You don't need to wait for 2/3 the mother size. You literally just need to cut the plant away, and you can repot it, and you can actually set the plant on its own, and it will grow up to be a matured bromeliad. Okay, so when it is less than 2/3 the mother size and doesn't have roots like this Guzmania, then it is safest to actually just leave the plant. You can see that this plant here, if I lift it up, it's actually still inside one of the sheaths of its mother's leaves. So it's actually coming out from inside one of the leaves, and there are definitely no roots attached to that plant yet. Okay, so this plant definitely is a no-go. I will not remove this plant from its mother. She has got to keep her little babies for a little bit longer, and so we'll wait until their babies are older. I'll even cut the flower off because it's not serving any purpose. There are no seeds inside there. I can feel there are no seeds inside, so basically I would just take it, get in nice and deep, and lop it off. And that looks painful, but yeah, it's going to do the plant some good in the long run. Okay, so that's one. So now when we get to the Bulburgia, the nutans, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some bark, wood chips, peat, perlite, and just a touch of vermiculite, and then we mix that together to create a medium for a bromeliad. That is a medium that I use for all of my plants, and it generally always works unless the plant is a terrestrial, which means it grows in the ground, or it's xerophytic. In that case, I would then obviously use sand or a sort of more gritty material to grow the plant in. But if it's epiphytic, if it's a Bulburgia, if I know for a fact it grows in trees, again, this goes back to one of the previous videos where I said get to know your plant. So research the background of your plant, even if it is a hybrid. The genus alone should tell you what the plant likes. Go and research it, check what it likes, and then adjust the medium accordingly. So because I know this is a Bulburgia, and I know that Bulburgias are generally epiphytic, especially in this case, that's what I'm going to do. So I am going to use an epiphytic medium, and I'll show you how to mix that in a second. Okay, be right back. And I'm back. So with me in this bucket, I've got medium, which I have mixed, and if I can just show you what it looks like in there. This is finely chipped bark, so there are wood chips in here, perlite, a little bit of peat, and some controlled release fertilizer. So you don't need all of those stuff, but what you do need is, I'll give you the ratio. So whatever receptacle you use to actually pour in the substrate into the bucket, so in that case I use a little container like this. So I'll use 15 of these will be bark, 2 of these will be perlite, 2 of these will be peat, and the last one will be coconut chips. So just for added sponginess and some wholesome goodness, basically. I try and think about what substrate would look like in a tree for a plant to grow in, and then I go according to that. So that's what it is. I'll put it up on the screen for you so that you can see. So this is the medium. Let's cut the plants. Okay. Now just remember, Bromeliad doesn't like a big pot. So you can see that this plant can do with a pot this size. I don't have any more pots this size right now, or actually I do, I just need to go and find them. But I'm going to use one of these in the meantime, okay? And then allow the plant to actually fill this pot. But as a rule, a Bromeliad generally does not like a very big pot. It wants a small pot because it doesn't focus on having a massive root system. Okay. So how do we go about cutting this guy? Literally all I'll do is I'll squeeze the pot to free up the plant. If it's a spiny plant, please use gloves because you don't want to injure yourself. So that is a very good, healthy plant. It's used up all of the medium, literally above and below, and that's ready to come apart. So all I now need is, I'm going to get a container just to work in because I don't want to dirty the floor or Jocelyn will kill me. So give me 1 second, let me just get a pot. Okay, so I've got this guy here which I'm just going to work into, and basically what you want to do is just loosen it up, take the tag out, put your tag in a very specific place so that you can find it later, and then I'm going to open it up. And then I'm going to decide on what's going to go for what. So, there's a mother. I'm going to count my mothers according to the old flowers that they've got. There's a mother. And then here's another mother here. And there's one in the center. So I've got about 4 mothers, right? And all the rest are pups. So in this case, I can see that the plant is sitting nice and deep in the growing medium, which in my mind says that the plant has already got roots. So we can test that theory. So I'm going to get my secateurs in there, and then I'm going to separate them. So when you cut them out, you literally just go as close to the mother as possible without hurting the pup, and you cut, and one comes out. And that one has got roots. As small as it is, it's got roots because it's been sitting nice and deep in the medium. Okay, so that's one. That's a mother. So she's going to go to what I call my bromeliad graveyard, because since they have already flowered, just because they flowered does not mean that they're completely going to die. She will still give off pups if you put her in offset. What that means is you plant her in a pot so that she is able to continue producing babies until she eventually vanishes, and that will happen. Okay. So out of that entire clump, we only got 3 little plants. The rest of them, I will pot them up because they will produce more babies. So that's an example of one of these plants. Now let's do the big Bulbogia. So this is the big Bulbogia I told you about. Again, I'm going to take out my tags. Okay, squeeze the pot just to free up the roots from the side walls of the inside of the pot, and then and before that, because this one is so big, it's obviously holding water, so I'm going to toss it out so that we don't unnecessarily wet everything. And then I'm just going to try and free it up so that I can pop it out, and out it comes. Again, that's a very good sign. Plant is very healthy. It's got lots of nice roots. It's quite firm. This one I am not going to completely break up. This one this mother I'm going to discard. She is nearly completely dead. In this case, I don't want to keep this mother just for my own purposes, but these plants here, this is already 2/3 the mother's size. So this one, even though it doesn't appear to have roots, in fact, the roots are just starting. They're just starting. If you can see that there, the roots are just starting to come out. So that means this plant is ready to be severed from its parent. This one, however, I doubt is ready because it's still quite small and it's sitting above the medium. This one definitely I can see does not have roots. Okay, so that one we will not be separating. We will leave this one with its mother and pot them up separately. This last one down in the bottom here, let's just see what's happening. Yeah, this one is, I imagine it also has some roots. It is already about 2/3 the mother's size. So again, that one has got roots. So let's cut. First and foremost is that one there. You can just cut it away. Oops, need another cut. Whoa. It's got just enough roots to get going. So that's good enough. Then we're gonna take that one out. And that one's got some roots, which is nice. And then lastly, this one here, which we said does not have roots, we're gonna leave it with its mother. There is another pup on the way, which I can see actually just peeking its little nose out there at us. Okay, but in that case, I still want to separate and take out the old mother, so I'm going to go in between the old mother and the newly flowered mother and separate them. And then the same on this side. Here's the mother. This is one of her newly flowered pups. I'm gonna wedge in there and just cut it free so I can get her out. So there's my old mum. I'm going to send her to the graveyard outside in the garden. And then these two, I'll afford an opportunity to actually allow them to regrow and that pup to mature. And then this one here, I can see if I remove these leaves, there are a couple of pups that are starting to come out there. So that's what I want for this plant. So in that case, these two, I'm going to separate them. And that whole thing about like cutting and just making a clean cut. Yes, some of those things are true for certain plants, but not for all, because I mean, seriously, I would not be showing you this if it didn't work. Sometimes we go overboard and we just make things way more complicated than we should. And I'm guilty of that too. So, there we go. 2 flowered plants, one with a pup, one without. This one has got pups in the wing. This one has got 1 pup out and 1 pup in the wing. So, we'll repot these. But let me show you how to repot the pups. So, got my pots. And then I've got the bark. And basically all we're going to do now is I've got a cup to actually dish out some medium, put it into its new pot until it reaches the level where the plant should sit, and I'll just fix the plant in firmly, and then Bob's your uncle. And the controlled released fertilizer is really good because it basically just will give the plant nutrients during its growing phase, so as the plant develops it actually has something to feed off of. Okay, so here's one plant, that's the medium. I'll stick it in just about halfway, and then I'll take some bark, some of the medium that we've already pre-mixed, and I'll put it in there like that. Make sure that the plant is centered and upright. and it will still be a bit loose, so then I'll just put it down on a flat surface, press it in firmly around the base of the plant so that the plant doesn't move as easily. And then once you continually start to give that plant some water, it will grow into place and take a hold of that medium. So that's one. Let's do one more. Another one in. Just balance it on there. And throw in the medium around the plant. Okay. And then push it down again. And that's another. So now we've got, how many pups did we get from that? We got 2 from the red Bulburgia, and then we've got a few from this Bulburgia nutans, which we're gonna go 1, 2, and 3. And I usually fill it up to almost to the top so that I can push it down to below that general line that you find inside the pot. Generally you've got this line on the inside, so I fill it up to just above that line, and then obviously the growing medium will settle down, and you want it to about where that line is, so that when you water the plant, the water actually comes into the pot. It doesn't flow over the outside, and then the plant loses all the water. So that's just a little tip. One more. So this medium I would use for bromeliads, and I can honestly say I haven't really lost a bromeliad, except when it comes to Pitcairnias, which I would then use a more peat-based medium that holds a lot more water. For me, that works. Or if it's a puya or an orthnophytum or something like that, where they'd actually prefer a drier or more free-draining medium, then I'd use a lot more grit or sand for that. So I'll put that one in there. And then one more. Push it down. And that kind of worked out perfectly, because that's how much medium I've got left in the bucket, which is excellent. The mother, I'm going to put back into a pot, and allow her to grow on. So that's pretty much how that's going to happen. So yeah, guys, that's how to care for a bromeliad when the plant is, when it's already flowered, and that's what to do with the pups. So again, let's just recap. I would cut the plant only if it is 2/3 the mother size or larger, And if it isn't, if it's got roots, you can also cut it off. If it doesn't have roots and if it's not 2/3 the mother's size, I would say leave the plant with its mother, because then you'd just be asking for trouble. If you want to lose your plant, then that's a good way to go. If you don't want to lose the plant and you actually do want to see it mature, then I would say wait for the 2/3 rule. Guys, I hope you liked this video. If you did like the video, please hit the subscribe button, follow our channel, and I hope you like bromeliads. And if you're just starting out, welcome to the addiction. Other than that, I'm gonna say adios for now and keep gardening and have a good day, and bye for now.